Okay, let's take a dive with swing, however I call it. Happy Sunday, Vera. Sorry I could not make it. Just now we're really closing. But remember, I just sent you that whole project. Sorry, that project also is it, but I explained that part. There's a way I set it that I should fit with this stuff, and I also sent you, the questionnaire. But first of all, I also use the questionnaire here. First of all, look at this, and you understand what I'm doing right now. This is your chapter 1. This is 1.5. When you are seeing the first number each of them is accordance to the chapter. And you can see that the hypothesis is 1.5, but it's null, meaning negative. That is saying advertising strategy has no significant effect, significant influence. Just 3 hypotheses for the 1.6 are null, right? Negative, you are saying no, has no, there is no, all of those kind of things are null. But we'll use the positive version of it later. Take note of that. Now take note of this one that just entered. That is on chapter 3. But I can say the first number is the chapter, right? So 3 points. This is 3.6, right? It can be 3.5, but you're on 3.6. It depends. Some people it's 3.7. Data analysis, method of data. And when you're analyzing testing hypothesis, that's what you mean. This is the formula you will use, and it's called a regression formula. It's actually to find B in regression. For regression is y equals to a plus bx. But most times, especially all these marketing projects, they only use that B form as the whole regression. But this is regression analysis. We are going to use it. So this is what we pick. So take note of it too. Then we'll come to the questionnaire. Now, if you notice the questions, it's divided in section A and section B. Section A are the normal ones, right? Employment status, whether they are management or not. The sex, whether male or female. What is your age range? I'm sure you have seen all these things in your questionnaire. Your marital status, whether married, divorce, all those things. Then, marital status, whether single, divorce, all those things are important. And finally, how long have you worked? All those usually influence all kind of topics and decisions, right? How long? But they also staff. You need to know those their rank and their personal information. It's called personal data. This section A now for personal. Now the one with the tick for brackets. Then now we're about to go to section B, and that is section B. These are the ones that you are having. And now take note of that section A and take note of this section B. Each of those questions you're asking, number 1 has table, number 2 has table. These are distributed to the number of people in your sample size. Okay, I do not. Sample size is there in your 3.3 or something. Check. You see sample size. There's a number of people there. You check. Those people will also be. It's all those people that will be number of people constituting the table, because it means those are people that respond. Although there are sometimes they can have error in questionnaire field, number of questionnaire field. Well, feel maybe some people don't understand some rest because they are not really that literate, or their BSc, their level no reach, and you cannot compile half because each of them must be complete, right? That's why I made it that simplistic. Some of them don't even feel at all. They were feeling too big and all that stuff. It's called error. But if the thing is too small, sometimes they get error. Everybody feel just cooperate. And in your case, everybody cooperated. So use the whole sample size without that error stuff. Now the next thing you need to note, like I said before, was your sample size and sampling technique. You can see the number of people was 170. Look at that reading. You see what I'm talking about. 170 staff. So since there was no error in the distribution, because that one is usually in chapter 4 they will show it. And I remember I've done this, I've checked it, there was no error in the distance. And the number is really too small, 170. So we work with everything. So now going to the chapter 4. Each of those questions, do you remember them? The employment, the age and everything. You can see now that it's there. That is showing you all these tables that you are seeing there. Each table is representing each question. You can see if you go back to the question, go back to these tables, you are seeing that they're exactly the same thing. The 4.7 was the number 7 question that's having strongly agreed. You can see it here. And you can see at its shape. So each of them, and the other tables you saw how they look like now, they don't have strongly agreed. It's just normal. And you can see all of them total is giving us according to the sample size, right? To the sample size. So now I can see now these are section 2. It's the last 3 hypotheses, because those last 3 tables had the question in our introduction hypothesis. That's why I showed you the introduction hypothesis before. But like I said, positive version of it. That's what you are seeing. Now look at this one. The regression analysis that we use as the stuff is what we use to test it. You can see it, and that's why I call method of data analysis, because we use it to test the hypothesis. Now take note that when you are through with all this regression analysis stuff and fitting in the number and creating the table to look like the number, for that why we don't give it random variables 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. You can give it even numbers, odd numbers, whatever. Whenever we are through, take note that if the answer has minus, it's a negative hypothesis that is our answer. And before it test the hypothesis, each hypothesis you must put both the null and alternative, each of them, before you test each of those formula. And when you get the answer, if you have minus, it's negative. If you don't have minus, it's alternate, which is positive. Meaning there's no in the answer. Then all those answers you get, they're not called findings. We'll not discuss it. So from those your 3 findings, you just bring it out as summary of findings. That is chapter 5. I'm using my own. Then form conclusion, recommendation. You can browse them. Bye.